This is Adam from Precise Pet Care. Welcome to our training video on auto invoicing. You can configure auto invoicing on the billing options page in the auto invoicing tab. The auto invoicing allows you to have the system automatically create invoices for you on a set schedule. You can turn auto invoicing on. The visit window determines how far in the future the system will look for visits to add to the invoices. So say if we're invoicing on the last day of the month and we don't want to invoice anything in the future, we would want to set up to the day of invoicing. But if we are pre-invoicing, say we're invoicing on the first of the month, invoicing to the end of that month, we would want to do up to 1 month after invoicing. And that would mean that only visits within the next month would be invoiced. Create invoices for determines which statuses that the visits are in will be added to the invoice. So again, if you are post-invoicing, so only invoicing visits which have already happened, you may not want to be invoicing for visits which are in the assigned or declined statuses. But if you are pre-invoicing, you would, because those visits would be in the future, they would not yet be completed. Keep group visits on the same invoice allows the system to determine whether there are a series of visits, and if so, to wait so they are all connected to the same invoice. This would be more likely if you are invoicing, say, more often weekly, bi-weekly, than if you were invoicing monthly. And you can have trip visits only. So if the client has added a trip, those visits are already connected as a single trip. You can have those only appear on a single invoice. And again, the system will wait until it's a time when all of the visits will be added to the invoice before they are on an invoice. Trip and consecutive day visits. So visits that are one day after the other, and the last option being trip, consecutive day, and every other day visits. So that would mean the only time the system would invoice the visits separately would be if they were more than 2 days apart. The invoice creation frequency determines how often the invoices are generated. You can have it be daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or custom. If you select custom, you can add 1 or more days of the month which the invoices are processed. If you added the 31st, it would automatically happen on the last day of the month, even for months which have less than 31 days. The invoice date determines the date of the invoice. And again, back in the billing options, we said that the due date of the invoice can be determined by the invoice date. So that's why this is important. You can have it be the date invoice is created would be the most common one, but you could also have the invoice date based on the date of first visit or the date of last visit. Send invoices to client. Immediately, auto on the invoice date, and again, the invoice date would be generated based on the setting up here. So if you had maybe 3 days before the first visit, and then you had an auto on invoice date, that would mean that the clients would get that invoice 3 days before the first visit. Or manually. Manually means you're going to send them out manually. You can select them, which you can do as a bulk action on the invoices page and have them sent out. Now, when you're first getting your auto invoicing set up, we do suggest that you have this set to manually, just so you can have a period to check those invoices, make sure that they're being created as you expect before you send them to the client. Make sure to check your preview, and that'll allow you to see a projection of when invoices would be created based on the settings that you have just configured. And you can see the clients that would be invoiced. You can see the invoice dates being variable. Now if we set this to date invoices created, and we did a preview, we can see our invoice would be dated on the 30th, which would be the last day of the month, as we were talking about. So if we set it to be the 31st, it's always going to be the last day of the month. And the auto invoicing, ongoing only, allows you to have different auto invoicing settings for visits which are part of ongoing series. So this allows you to set up two different schedules for auto invoicing. And clients can be set to either default or they can use the ongoing scheduling. And so if you had a client that you only wanted to use the ongoing auto invoicing schedule, say they were mostly ongoing visits, but maybe they had a few occasional non-ongoing visits, you could have them use the ongoing auto invoicing schedule only, which would mean that their non-ongoing visits would also be included on their ongoing auto invoices. Thanks for watching.